A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to move on to the final section of the show, which is called
Okay.
the Furious Five.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you five questions. These are five questions that I'm going to get asked to every guest.
Mm-hmm.
So question number one, what advice would you give to a student trying to pursue a career in public health?
My best advice for any student pursuing a career in public health, I know when I graduated from high school, I remember the commencement speaker saying, find your passion and work at it and you'll be successful. And so, I could appreciate that advice, but my new twist on that advice is I tell all my clients to search by pay and not by title for public health. Because I feel like, this is economic stability. I feel like if you focus on, what you need to have a quality life, a quality living standard, how much your bills are and how much. Start with what you need on basics and then feel free to reinvent yourself based on what you see that's a job description on I would recommend indeed.com. But being willing to be innovative and reinvent yourself, because a lot of these job titles, like me, I'm a technical editor, but actually I'm a health educator, so it just depends on where you're working and what that title might be. But if I was looking for jobs, I would never think technical editor. Like, that's something I need to look at. So I think the jobs are out there for us, but we have to be open-minded to say, guess what? We can serve in any setting, any industry, and take this public health thing and really apply it to these companies, whether it's healthcare, government, private practice, community, all of these, and also education systems. But it can be applied in any industry. So I want everybody to get more innovative about how you're looking at public health, because every company is trying to prevent loss. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what we do in public health, is prevention. So you just have to be able to market your value and tell them, hey, this is what you need. You really need a public health leader on your team. And I am that, and you can do it. That's what I did. Yeah. So that's my best advice. Does that make
Mm.
sense? Search by
Yeah,
pay.
that absolutely makes sense, and I definitely agree with that. So moving on, number two, if you were talking to someone wanting to get into your position, what advice would you give them? So that's both technical writer and starting a business. That's
My best advice would be start with Toastmasters. I think you need to have thick skin. I work in private sector now. I would say, very profit driven. Excuse me, you get a lot of clients who want deliverables like quickly, so you get tied up into everything moving fast. Whereas when I worked at the government, it seems like things just took all year to kind of move through the stages. But my best advice would be to focus on something that is going to give more back to the agency that you're working for, and then also be something that is a transferable skill. Something that, so for instance, I worked as a health educator at the health department doing basically plain language, and I've taken that same skill and applied it to a private industry in tech, and working in plain language. So breaking down some of that business jargon into common language for the clients. So my best advice is just, look at the transferable skills, but just always know that there's two common transferable skills: communication and leadership. It's
yeah.
a Toastmasters really got me on communication and leadership. That's transferable through any job, any industry. I don't care where you're working at, business, technical editor, CEO of your own company. You gotta do an app, write a book. You're gonna need communication and leadership.
Yeah, and just in life too. Like you
Life,
need good communication, you need leadership to be successful, that's for sure.
yes, yes.
So what's something you are working on improving in your life right now?
Working on improving in my life right now. One thing so I'm 38 now. I've been married for 13 years. And I always talk about this on my Facebook page, but I would say out of 13 years, this is the best year of my marriage. And I feel like just coming into my own, I feel like I've had to push through so many failures, and now it's not that I'm thriving, but I feel like I'm finally who I was meant to be. I'm finally working in my purpose. I'm finally doing things that I feel like, that makes me happy. And I'm starting to call it a public health high. When
Mhm.
people call me and they're like, "Oh, LaTonya, something you wrote on your post, it really touched me, and I didn't have the words to say it, but everything you said was true. Oh my God, thank you so much." So I think just me resting in becoming myself, that has helped me to be a better businesswoman, a better mom, a better wife, a better leader. Just, I don't know. Like, so yeah, just becoming more of who I was supposed to be. Something about responsibility. I don't know if this resonates with a student, but you go to school all of your life, then you got to get a job. Then after you get a job, people are like, "When you gonna get married?" Then you get married, then like, "When you gonna have kids?" And you get kids, you're like, "When you gonna retire?" So it's like stages and processes. I feel like now I'm finally doing things that I want to do at my own pace.
Yeah, I like that
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing the journey along the way to getting where you are now. And I definitely think just being happy and happiness in what you're doing is something that we don't talk about enough, and it's something that we
Mm-hmm.
definitely should. So, question number 4. Professionally, do you recommend anything? A book, a podcast, a group, YouTube, anything?
Professionally, let me think. So what I recommend, of course, Toastmasters International for communication and leadership. It just helps my whole life. Actually, Toastmasters has helped me to be a better wife. Just listening instead of just like going off, but just being a better communicator, listening, and also like evaluation skills, like listening, but then saying, basically, this is what I heard you say. Is that what you heard? I mean, is that what you said? So, um, let me think. Any book, podcast. You know what? This is what I want to say. When I was just getting into like feeling myself, if you will, in public health, really feeling like, oh, there's more opportunities out here. I don't have to work for the government all my life. I don't have to retire from the government. I started listening to Jim Rohn. He's a motivational speaker. I just started listening to all his YouTube podcasts and just listening to like, he was all about personal development. He said, if you work on yourself personally, then you can have what you want. And
Hmm.
so I said, well, if I do this personal work, then it'll spill over into my career. And so I really took some time to, work on self-development, training myself through train.org classes, taking grant writing, procurement, just management, communication, leadership classes. There's all kind of classes in train.org, just getting those certificates and just, you got the degree, but it's like you have to still unlearn some of those bad habits and reprogram your brain for like what's needed here. How do I fill gaps in the department? And so I would say Jim Rohn is where I started. And then so now that I'm into so many things all at once, I'm gonna be honest, I listen to a lot of Love Dorsey, and
Okay.
also Nino Brown. Now that they have profanity in them, but I think in order to really, millennials will get it, because you need somebody to talk to your subconscious mind to say,
Mhm.
"Hey, you can't do the same thing everybody's doing," but then you need that motivation to say, "Oh yeah, I can do it." So I listened to them when I really when I was doing the app, developing 12 programs. I had all those mentors. That's who I listened to. Like, you know what? I'm the only one doing it, but it's okay. I'm gonna do it anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm into.
Okay, definitely. And I definitely resonate with that. I'm someone who listens to a lot of like self-development, motivational like podcasts and stuff.
Hmm.
So I definitely resonate with that. So the last question that I'm going to ask you today is where can people connect with you?
Yes, so you can connect with me, of course, through my website, www.latonyabynum.com. And of course, Sis Speaks Life on Instagram, on Facebook business, my Facebook business page, you are a resource. And then, of course, everyone should connect with me through LinkedIn. You know, my challenge to everybody listening is get you a LinkedIn page. That's the best thing you can do for your career and also eventually for your business as well.
Thank you. And I completely agree. LinkedIn has definitely been something that I've leveraged to help improve my career and meet new connections. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thank you for the advice. And thank you for
You're
this
welcome.
amazing experience and story. And I definitely appreciate it. And I hope some of it resonates with the listeners. I will link to everything that you talk about in the podcast in the show notes. And
Okay.
I just like to say thank you so much again for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. If you ever need anything, just let me know. I really appreciate this opportunity, Amar.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.